Listen to nothing but Niners.
So now they've got to start from deep in their end of the field, and Garrison Hurst takes advantage of it. He takes the handoff, sweeps to his right, gets to the 20. He's at the 30, needs to cut in. He comes back up the right sideline, breaks the third tackle, comes down to the 30. He's down to the 20. He's down to the 10. He's down to the 5. He's down to the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! 49ers! 96-yard run from scrimmage. Garrison Hurst.
Young back to throw. In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again, to the 35, cuts back at the 30, to the 20, the 50, the 10. He dies. Touchdown, 49ers. 7 the Ravens' 27-yard line. 49ers into the backfield. Smith on third down. He'll take it himself for a first down.
Left hip. Third down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking down in the post, and it's good! Touchdown! Touchdown 49! But it's second down. Ryan takes the snap, goes to slant to the left side. It's Michael, intercepted! The 49ers pick it, and Navarro Bowman is redemption! Navarro Bowman running it all the way for a touchdown!
Kaepernick shoots it. Hold everybody. Colin Kaepernick. What a game. Touchdown. Yeah.
Click, click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? The Nothing But Niners crew is back. Guys, we're here to bring you guys a fun-filled, quick show. Just kicking it with the crew. I'm your guy, 49ers Mike _NFL. The guy right below me down there is Tony. He is NJ Niner Fan 499. And if you're looking at the screen, he's to my right. I'm pointing to my left, though, which is very backwards. His name is Brian Strader, also known as Strather, if you're reading it phonetically. I don't know. What's going on, man?
One day you'll get it right, man. One day you'll get it right.
Stater. Damn it, Stater. Shit. I did it again. He shook his head no, and I'm like, what'd I do? It's Stater. You guys see the Twitter handles there, man. ST8R. 9R with the underscore in between. What's going on, bros? How you guys doing?
Good. How about yourself, Mike?
I'm not good. I'll tell you guys why in a little bit, but before I discuss everybody, Tony, how are you, man?
What's up? What's going on? Bunch of things to talk about today.
Yes, indeed.
But yeah, I'm pretty good.
Yeah, man. You know, I just tweeted out something about how I still get nervous before games and all, right? And like not games, but like before shows, right? And I've been doing podcasts and stuff for a very, very long time. I'm comfortable in front of people, but when that's something that's being recorded, I get a little bit of just something. It's not. I don't think it's nervous because I'm excited. I think it's anxious, and it messes up my stomach. And the more I think about the show, like if we have a show at 8:00, like how we did today, and I start thinking about it at 4, it gets worse as the show gets closer. Whereas if we say at 7, we're going to do a show at 8, I'm fine. I only had an hour to think about it. No big deal. Man, my stomach was twisted earlier. Like I literally came here. You guys beat me here. You guys usually beat me here, but still, like you guys beat me here by a significant margin this time. So my stomach, man, it's just, it's so bad. It's so bad. Plus, I'll be honest with you guys. I have some Pepsi over here. I don't do soda. I definitely don't do dark soda if I do soda. And it's just not a good mix, man. But like you guys said, I don't want to disgust anybody. We're breaking stuff out here. We're going to break stuff down here. And let's start with this. And let's see if you guys consider this news here. Let's start with this right here. It has been said that the 49ers have at least 2 scouts at this BYU game watching Zach Wilson, quarterback Zach Wilson. Your guys' thoughts before I say anything about it.
Go ahead, Tony.
They should be there. I like this kid. I like what he's about. I mean, I know he plays lower competition, but I just watched maybe the first quarter, a little more. They went up 21-0, and I shut it off. I like how he moves in the pocket. He senses like the rush. He steps into his throws. His footwork could be worked on, but I mean, the kid can make the throws, and that's something that we are in desperate need of. Who are they playing? Central Florida tonight. I mean, that's a team with speed, and that there's a couple plays where they sent like 5-6 guys at him, and he maneuvered through the pocket, stepped up, and made a nice dart about 15 yards down the field for a completion and a first down. Listen, it's like a kid in a candy store. We don't have that. So when you see that, you get very excited saying, wow, imagine something like this in Kyle's offense. So, it's still very early in the process. It's too early to do these mock drafts and stuff like that. But, it is good to keep your eyes open on players that could fill needs for this team going forward in 2021.
Yeah, and before Brian gives his thoughts on it, I just want to add that there are more than – scouts don't go to a game to just watch one player. Not good scouts, I should say. If you get sent to a game just to watch one player, I think you're wasting your time. I think scouts are done by region and area, and so if that's your area where that game is, that's the team you're watching. You have a checklist of players that the team should be looking out for. So if someone happens to catch your eye at a different position, you should be looking at them too. So for example, 49er secondary next year has a bunch of holes in it, right? There's this corner safety by the last name Warner. So I'm just saying he plays on this team also. You shouldn't just be watching one guy. So
no, of course, I agree with what you're saying, but just real quick, when you're investing in something like this and the potential franchise quarterback where you might have to move up to get him, and if they feel that this is their guy, you want more than one opinion on him. You want more than one set of eyes.
No.
One guy misses something where the other guy doesn't see it, or vice versa.
Yeah, but I wasn't responding to you. The comment that we originally put up said scouting Zach Wilson only in capital letters, and I don't think that's the case. That's all. Go ahead, Brian. What are your thoughts on this Zach Wilson character?
I don't really have any thoughts on him specifically because I really don't look at quarterbacks until later when I can go back and look at stuff in the offseason. But they should have scouts there. They should have scouts at at all of the top 10 quarterbacks. Anybody that they think can be competition in the league, they should be looking at now to make sure that they're ready for it. I just don't see – I know that a lot of people are on board with trading up for quarterback. I just don't see this regime doing that. I think they're taking either a defensive end or one of those top 2 cornerbacks in the league with the first round or during the draft, either Rousseau or Farley or Surtain. That's what I think our top picks are going to be, and they're going to try and trade up in the second round or maybe back into the first round to get whomever their quarterback's going to be. I also like Wyatt Davis as an offensive line, so I don't see them building this team with going out and spending a first round pick on a quarterback. I don't, and I don't see any. Like I said, I haven't watched everybody. I mean, I've read articles that other people have written and stuff like that, and I did watch the Florida game. And while Trask is not a bad quarterback, I don't think he's Brett Favre. I don't think he's one of the future legends of the league, and I don't think you go up and you spend first round talent on somebody that isn't showing you something like that in college. And again, like I said, I haven't really gone back and looked at all of these quarterbacks yet. But I know that just from some of the write-ups that I've read and some of the games that I've watched, obviously everybody's on Lawrence's stuff for being a first round and Field stuff for being a first round. But, with Lance and Trask and even Wilson, I could see them falling in the draft. And I just don't see the 49ers burning their capital there. I think that they're going to go, they have 0 cornerbacks on the roster next year. I think that's where they're going to be headed. So,
yeah,
but they should be at every game scouting. So I'm not surprised by that at all.
Yeah, let's get Breezy's take on this also, because people are saying that they're here to watch one guy and one guy only, and it's been a one-man show so far. 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing. Breezy, bro, ho. What are your thoughts on the 49? Oh, where'd he go? Oh, we both hit at the same time. What are your thoughts on the 49ers being there to scout Zach Wilson?
It's a smoke screen.
Oh,
I think I'm not sure that's his guy, yo. I'm not. But
you scout the best talent every year coming into the draft, right? That's your job. You scout the best talent. I just think that right now it's just if we have a run to get a quarterback, I still don't even think the 49ers draft a quarterback like in the first round. I just don't think that they do it. I don't even think that it would be wise to do that.
Oh, Breezy with the hot takes. Okay. All right, damn. Hey, I noticed that you put the mistletoe right on your forehead on camera in front of all the ladies because they'd be like, "Where Breezy? Where Breezy?" And you want to put the mistletoe. You ain't getting a kiss from that now person on this panel, bro. I promise you. Well, I don't know. Tony might, he might blow you a kiss over there. I don't know, man.
I love it, yo. I love it.
But so we got some other stuff to get to. But no, guys, I honestly, between us, I think the Niners are looking for a quarterback. I'm gonna give you guys a fair and honest opinion later on when we start breaking this stuff down. We have a whole bunch of shows planned for this when the offseason gets here. But right now, let's go ahead and look at what happened today. The 49ers made a lot of moves. Let's start with the roster moves. That's always the first thing that we do. They have placed running back Raheem Mostert on injury reserve. Notably, I don't think it was mentioned that Nick Mullins is on IR yet, but they're saying that he may require surgery. In fact, let me rephrase it. Let me make this clear here. Shanahan did not say he may require surgery. Shanahan was specifically asked if he would need a Tommy John's type surgery, and he said it's possible. They were waiting on results of testing and MRIs. So Shanahan didn't actually say yes, he needs surgery, but that story kind of hit Twitter and went crazy. So at this moment, we know Nick Mullins is out. Jimmy Garoppolo's window is open, but Shanahan has said everything except the words, "I don't want to play him anymore this year." But everything else he has said, unless the doctors tell me there's 100% guarantee that he won't get injured. Well, this is football. There is no such thing. And that's the second time he has said that in a presser, that unless you can 100% guarantee me that Jimmy won't get injured or re-injure that ankle, I don't want to put him back out there. That tells me that he doesn't want to put him back out there because there's no such thing as a 100% guarantee. Other moves that were made. The 49ers, let's talk about it. We're here on quarterbacks, and Zach Wilson have signed former first-round pick Josh Rosen, coming from the Cardinals to the Dolphins to the Bucks, and now another touchdown by the BYU guy. Josh Rosen is here in the building, guys, off of Tampa Bay's practice squad. The 49ers just sign first-round guys. They find them. They sign them, whether it's defensive linemen, quarterbacks. They just do it. It wasn't Lincoln Thomas in the first-round pick also?
I know Blaine Gabbert was.
Well, speaking of Blaine, okay, let's talk about Josh Rosen. How do you guys feel about the quarterback Josh Rosen? Because Blaine Gabbert is going to come back up in this conversation later on. Let's go with Tony first. Come on, you've been the silent assassin over there, and that salt and pepper beard is making me a little nervous. So
wait, we want to know about Rosen, the quarterback. All right, basically he was drafted in 2018.
Oh no, I don't want a history on him. No. I want to know your thoughts on the Niners signing him and what you think this means.
It's a win-win situation. That's all it is. It's you know what you're getting. The guy has a high football IQ. He has a good arm. He can make the throws. He throws with touch. He throws with velocity. He's not mobile, but he's mobile enough to step up and create lanes to escape pressure to make a throw. So his three knocks on him is mobility, maturity, and some people question his arrogance. Those were the red flags coming out of UCLA during the draft process. Everyone's seen it went viral, the girl in his room in the hot tub in his dorm room. So, I mean, he was a young kid. I think he's only 23 now, so he got drafted. So he was 19 years old? He's going to be 24, so he's 19 when he got drafted.
Wait, whoa.
Well, he got drafted
19 when he was drafted.
No, I'm sorry. He was 20 when he got drafted. I'm sorry.
I was going to say that might be the youngest guy I've ever heard of being drafted in the pros.
Alden Smith just made 20.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say. Alden was the youngest that I knew of prior to that, at least for the 49ers.
He was 20 or 21 between that. He might have been turning 21. Because he's 23 now.
Okay. So
So,
all right.
with that being said, I mean, listen, I'm not trying to say he's going to come in and steal the starting spot. He's going to be the 49ers' future going forward. By all means, no. But when you have the ability to take a top 10 pick, pluck him off a practice squad, bring him to your roster, and give him an opportunity in the last 2 games to come in and try to prove something, especially with no quarterbacks minus Jimmy under contract for next year, it's just a piece to the puzzle going forward. My biggest thing is I want to try to find out is whether it's a 1 or a 2 year deal. Because when you sign somebody off a practice squad, I think it's a 2 year deal to an active roster. So now if that's the case, they're going to bring him into camp next year and give him an opportunity, which I don't have a problem with because right now we don't know who's going to be there next year. It's good. Add all the bodies you could, let the cream rise to the top, and that's it. So it's not a bad move. It's not a great move. It's a smart move, especially going forward in the position and predicament that this team is in with injuries and uncertainty at the position.
And it's potentially the best move they could make this late in the season. Brian, take it away,
Absolutely. Man. So as soon as I saw this happen, right? And soon as I saw, I think it was a Matt Mayoko or somebody had tweeted it out. I went straight to the practice squad list for every team, and I scanned through. There are 24 practice squad quarterbacks. That's the only way to get someone in the building who's currently in the COVID protocol in order for them to be on the active backup come Saturday.
So what Brian is saying,
that's the sticking point.
Right. Free agents were not eligible because they have not been being tested regularly to join the team. So in order for someone to be in this building and be on the roster and be ready for the game on Saturday, they could only come from a practice squad. Okay, Brian, continue.
So of those 24 players, I asterisked 6 that I thought were potential players to come to the 49ers. And they were Webb from Buffalo, Rush from Dallas, Bortles from Denver, just because he's a vet, Matt Moore out of KC.
Wow, you're up to 4 and you don't have my 3 guys yet.
Kaiser from Tennessee and Rosen from Tampa Bay. Those were the 6 people that I saw that could potentially fit into this system out of the 24 quarterbacks that are available off practice squads.
Wow. All right. So let me just give you my 3. Now, I think as you ran down your list of 6, your why is kind of obvious. You wanted some experience, some guys who have done it in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I gathered from your.
Right now, we're searching for a backup to CJ Beathard, who's going to come in and have 3 days to learn enough plays to be able to step in if something happens to CJ.
Exactly. So my 3 were way different. I had Bryce Perkins, I had Kyle Schumer, and Kevin Hogan, because those guys are on the Bengals and on the Rams practice squad. And the reason I said those 3 is because they have some familiarity with a system similar to what we're running. The guys that you named didn't, but they have pro experience. So I'm going to shut up now and you can keep going.
No, that was it. So I was expecting that one of those 6 would probably be who we would get, because I figured they would go with – I think that McVay's probably changed up his process. Taylor's probably changed up their processes enough that they're different from Shanahan, that pulling somebody specifically from one of those systems who might be a fit into Shanahan's style or scheme, I'm not sure that was where I would have put my wager. So I went with the more NFL experience, more, even if it was second and third string for some of those guys. But I honestly think that Josh Rosen just hasn't really gotten a shot. I mean, he came in, he was 1 year with Arizona. They got a new system in the next year and they tossed him to Miami. Miami already had plans for something else. They went and built something different, and he went on the back burner, got tossed wherever he went. And then he finally ends up in Tampa Bay, where obviously we know the situation there. He just not, he's had the ability to learn from a lot of different people, but never been able to really put things into place, I guess, on the field. And not that I expect he's going to get to this year, but at least like Tony was saying, I'm in agreement. I think that it's a minimum 2 year. They maybe do a 3 year deal with him. And that ties us into having someone guaranteed in our quarterback room next year, without any debate. Like We don't have to, you can talk about Jimmy and his contract and whether or not he's going to be here. We don't know. That's a decision that the management has to make. But if we signed him to the 2 to 3 year deal we think that he's going to get, we know at a minimum that Josh Rosen will be here. He may not end up being the starter. He may not even end up on the team come, August or September, whenever we start playing again. But at least we know we have someone in that room.
Yeah. Now, Wayne, man, we're talking about and trying to figure out the logistics of this all and the type of contract, a 1 or 2 year deal. What are your thoughts on this, man? What kind of deal do you hope the Niners extended to Josh Rosen?
I really don't give 2 cares what they extend to give this guy. At the end of the day, season's over. We got 2 games left. Let's go ahead and lose so we can get this draft pick and we can build this team up. Right now, they only had to get a quarterback due to the injury of Nick Mullins. If Nick Mullins wasn't injured, we wouldn't be having this conversation, obviously. So at the end of the day, will Josh Rosen remain a 49er after the season? No one knows. We don't even know if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be a 49er at the end of the season. So right now, we're just talking a bunch of smoke for no reason. We could be moving on from this. Josh Rosen, will he play this season? Probably not, but it is what it is.
I think I like the Niners giving Josh Rosen a 2-year deal, and I'm going to tell you why. I think one of the 3 quarterbacks that we saw this year return next year. I think Josh Rosen, being a former first-round pick, has a lot of talent, could be another guy that they throw in the mix. And then I think we draft the guy as early as the first round, believe it or not. And I think a competition between Josh Rosen, former first-round pick, Jimmy Garoppolo appeared in the Super Bowl, and then whoever you draft in the first round is a hell of a way to start your preseason. And I think that really brings out the best in everybody. And if it's the way I think it's going to be, you're getting all these guys essentially for pennies minus Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, the first-round quarterback is going to warrant you some coin, right? But that's something, look, they're drafting in the first round. That's calculated already. They know what they're getting into. But I think that if you can do something like that, and yes, I said Jimmy Garoppolo. Does that mean that they renegotiate his deal? Does that mean that they keep him as a starter? That I don't know. That part I won't pretend to know. But I think maintaining, because Jimmy Garoppolo is the only quarterback under contract next season, like it or not. I'm saying bringing him back, a guy that you made it to the Super Bowl with, picking up a Josh Rosen, and then drafting a guy in the first round, your quarterback situation goes from one of the weakest positions on the team to maybe one of the strongest, just like that. So I know what Nick Mullins is. I know what CJ Beathard is, and I don't want either one of them as the guy that we have to depend on for a game.
But you know what Josh Rosen is too, and he's a backup.
And
that's you don't know what he's like with a good coaching staff. And
right, he's been thrown under.
Fit him.
He's gone from bad situation to worse situation to no situation. But here is what I'm concerned with, Breezy, to your point. You mentioned the name earlier, and it was Blaine Gabbert. Mm-hmm. Who is the current backup for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tony?
Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert. I don't know if I want a guy on this roster that couldn't beat out Blaine Gabbert for the backup spot. That's where my head took me immediately. As soon as
maybe he just wasn't given a fair shot, like you said.
Right, and that's why I'll be very interested to see what happens. All right, guys. So let's. Does anyone else have any takes on the Rosen situation before we get to the rest of the news here?
I just real quick about Rosen. I just said it, but you got to realize the guy's been, as far as offensive systems, has been bounced around the league with different coaches, different philosophies on offense, different schemes. So it's kind of hard to really get a full evaluation on him. And second is, I was at the game where he made I think it was his first start versus the Niners in San Francisco when he was with Arizona. And he made 2 throws in that game. I was just like, holy crap. One of them was like at least a 50 to 60-yard bomb down the field. And the guy Brown, the wide receiver Brown, J.J. Brown or J.J. Nelson, one of them, they caught it right in stride and just smoked. I'll give you one guess, but you probably won't even need it. A defensive back on this team. But
Who
the
was
ball
it?
placement was perfect. Sherman. The ball placement was perfect. It could have been in a better spot. He made two other timing throws, like slants and quick outs, that were very impressive. And I'd seen this like on hand. I was in the end zone watching it, and he was like literally in front of me on the 20-yard line making these throws. So it like, again, this isn't a guarantee by all means, but it is something that could potentially have a very, very high ceiling, but with a very, very high floor, if that makes sense. So it's not going to be something risky. They can walk away from him and wash their hands and say, we tried, goodbye.
Absolutely.
Right.
But the predicament that this team's in with a quarterback going towards the future, it can't hurt.
Yes, and rumor is that Josh Rosen was also offered other positions on other teams, and he turned it down. So he felt, for whatever reason, that Tampa may be his best bet to getting into a starting lineup, or at least to an active roster, until the Niners came knocking. So that shows that his agent and himself are aware of our situation, the situation in Tampa, and this was going to be his best shot here. So I don't see them signing a contract for just 2 games. That's why I think it might be a 2-year contract, the remainder of this year and then next year. So we don't know, but we will absolutely see. We'll see. Other news to discuss, guys. I mentioned it in the very top of this, but Raheem Mostert done for the season. So when we reflect, this guy held out. Do you technically consider it holding out? But he made a big fuss about getting a contract. And how do you guys feel Raheem Mostert performed this season?
I don't want to get cussed out by Raheem Mostert and saying that I'm being disrespectful or whatnot from Raheem Mostert. So I'm just going to just be quiet.
Oh, you're not going to give us anything on Mostert?
I mean, what is there to give him? He, like, if you want to blame it on his injury, then blame it on his injury. But at the end of the day, I mean, he's leading the team in rushing, but he just hasn't played. And how can you fully assess a person that hasn't really played a game, but then goes out and is butthurt by fans commenting? Like, I don't know how I really feel about this guy, but all I know is I'll have a better assessment if he's healthy. The question is, can he stay healthy? Can he remain healthy with his style of playing? We talk about all these players, how they need to change up their style a little bit. It's the big leagues now. It's not the little leagues. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's bigger and faster than you. If he's not willing to make these sacrifices and these changes to be healthy, what's the point of signing him? Like, what's the point of having a guy that can't give you 14 out of the 16 games? Or at least 12 out of the 16 games? I mean, I get it. We're all professional, right? We all take a day off from work. You know what I'm saying? Personal reasons, play hooky, go to the arcade, whatever it is we do. I get it. But dang, dude, look, running backs come a dime a dozen, man. If Kyle feels he's not going to be healthy, you have to do what you got to do. It is what it is. But I can't really assess him because he's hurt.
Yeah, Mostert finishes the season averaging 5 yards a carry. And his stat line is 8 games, 104 rushing attempts, 521 yards with 2 touchdowns and exactly 5 yards per attempt. That's just rushing. That's not all-purpose yards. Brian, was he worth the holdout?
I mean, like we've talked about before. I mean, we're not Nostradamus. We're never going to know what we can expect for the holdout, for the money that he held out for. I mean, it really wasn't that much of a bump in his salary, for what we expected to get and for what we got. I think it was probably worth it. I mean, when he's out there, he's the number 1 running back. I mean, it's just not debatable. When you look at the rest of our running backs on this team, they just haven't produced in the same manner as he has. So, I mean, can he be replaced? Sure, but not with our current stable of running backs. So, I mean, it was worth money to pay him to be here.
I kind of disagree. I think he can be replaced with our stable of running backs. The only thing is our running backs can't stay freaking healthy. That's the issue. You see a flash of Jermichael Hasty, and then we get a flash of Jeff Wilson Jr., and we already know Tevin Coleman is done and gone. It's
right. That's what I'm saying. He can't be his production cannot be replaced with the running backs we currently have on this roster. We've seen it from McKinnon, not happening. We've seen it from Tico, not happening. And Shanahan said today that Austin Walter is he's going to be he may see some snaps, but probably not.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you're going to see a lot more of the Ayuk stuff out of the backfield.
I hope not. We need him for the next 20 years.
I agree, but as Mike will argue with you, and as Shanahan said today, if a player is healthy, there's no reason to hold him out. He's not better than anybody else, and he's going to play. That's what he said about Kittle. I'm sure it goes across the board.
Oh, we're going to get there, baby. We're going to get there, man. Tony, man, I got to get your thoughts, though, before we move on, man. Raheem Mostert, when you look at the year that he had, and by the way, he didn't ask for a lot of money. He just wanted guarantees.
Yeah. He just wanted to flip his contract and give him a little more money as far as like you just said guarantees rather than performance-based incentives.
And he actually helped the team's salary cap when he redid this contract. It wasn't one of those things where it was all considered salary cap, because he signed an extension. It spread it out over the bonus, so it actually helped the team and relieved the team. Brian's got the cap numbers, but you can correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm okay with being wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it helped the team when he signed.
It did. It was minimal, but it was something.
Yeah.
But as far as like Mostert, listen, I like Mostert. I think he's very explosive. I think he's a great piece for this offense in the outside zone as far as a fit. But the issue is you're starting to see what happens when you don't have a quarterback that can't complete throws. Teams are taking away the outside zone by crashing their defensive ends up the field. It's forcing Mostert to run inside, taking more of a pounding on his body. He's got the high ankle sprain now. He's pretty much done for the season. He is on IR. It sucks. I do want him on this team in the future, but I really would like to see Jeff Wilson take the lead role and then sprinkle Mostert in as the second back, because
that's it.
Because I just feel
I said that
with his track record, I just feel like I'm not 100% sure, and it's not a knock on him. It's not. I just don't feel his body could take being the pounding of being an every down back, a full-time back in the NFL. And it's not a knock against him. It's really not. Also, my one thing is I'm kind of not a fan of his running style. And it's going to come one day where he's just going to take a shot
in the ribs
because he runs very upright. So he has a very large target on his chest. But listen, if that's how he's comfortable, that's how he gets to his top speed, albeit he is a track star, a former track star. So that's how they run. That's how he runs. But I would like to see him with the team going forward in the future. But I really would love to see Jeff Wilson take the reins of this team as a running back, because let me tell you something. When that man is focused, that man runs like a freight train, and he's hard to bring down. The knock against him is the nicks and the injuries, and sometimes he puts the ball on the ground. But so does Mostert. So the Niners have a lot of talent in the backfield, but they need to keep him on the field, and they need to keep him healthy, and they got to work on the ball security.
Yeah. So Mark
I know before you read Mark's contribution, to go with Tony said, I said at the beginning of the season that Mostert should not be the starting running back. I said he should be the change of pace back, switching up the stuff on this defense. I said that before Tevin Coleman got injured. I said let Tevin Coleman get the pounding, because when Mostert comes in, it's a lightning and thunder type of thing. So he's the lightning. And it's common sense. And now look at him. He's gotten beat up. Mainly because of what Tony said.
I absolutely remember that conversation, Wayne, because you and I had the one disagreement that I said it should be Wilson instead of Tico.
Either way, it shouldn't be.
I remember that specific conversation.
Right. It should be somebody. And the reason why I said it should have been Coleman is because that's what it was this season. Why are we changing that up? But Coleman gets injured. Wilson gets injured. But most of it is still starting. And like Tony said, it's not a knock on the guy. It's just simply saying, look, your best. We need your optimum best here. This is where we need it. We need you to play here. We don't care what we're paying you. This is what you need to do, because this makes our offense better. We start changing stuff up, and it's just all different, man.
Well, when it's all said and done, I mean, yeah, he played in 8 games this season. He got the start in. It's weird. I think he might have got the start in all 8.
Yes, he did.
He might have got the start in all 8, but he never carried the ball, as far as rushing attempts, more than 17 times in a game all year long.
I understand. I understand that. Like that makes him not the bell cow, because we spread the ball. It's weird. we share the ball as rushing, right? We kind of share those attempts. But still, if he's taking that pounding, when the team started figuring us out, like Tony said, when our quarterbacks couldn't throw the ball for whatever the reason, Mostert was getting blasted in the backfield. It was just like, dang, he gonna get hurt. So when he finally is able to come out and break a run or two, and he tries to hit that gear, there goes the high ankle sprain, or there goes the hammy, and there goes those different types of things. I just agree. I agree with Tony and Brian. Like, if Mostert is back with this team, please let somebody take the realm of being a guy that's going to be the Thunder and let him be the Lightning.
I hear y'all. I guess I just disagree because I don't think 17 carries is a lot, and
It's not a lot.
That was the most. I mean, for example, last game, Shanahan said at the presser today that we ran the ball 36 times, and that was with us starting down 14, right? That was with us down 14. He only ran the ball 14 times out of those 36. So we don't want to see McKinnon with the ball in his hands as a rusher. We got to get somebody else to get in there to be a ball carrier. You know what I'm saying? So it's also a circumstantial thing. I think if Kyle Shanahan had more confidence in other ball carriers, for example, if Hasty was in there, I don't think Jet gets. I mean, not Jet. Damn, listen to me. I don't think Mostert gets that many carries because I think Shanahan liked what he saw from Hasty as a ball carrier, right? But it just wasn't that way. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Real quick, Spot Rack updated their stuff for Rosen, so we only signed him to a 1-year deal for $750,000, but his cap hit, since it's only 2 games, is just over 88,000. But that does make him a restricted free agent next year.
So we got the rights
right there.
We got his rights, so that's what they really wanted.
We got the rights. That's crazy. So I didn't know a first-round draft pick can get that. That's weird. Is he the first? That's crazy,
it might be because
right?
nobody picked up his option that it put him out.
Yeah. Okay, Niners playing some smart, some maneuvering and stuff there. All right, let me get these comments up here on the board. I got to find my comments. We got a couple of them. There's 3 of them here. We have a $9.99 one that came first, and then we have one from Sean that came next. And then there's a $25 one also. I'm trying to find the comments here. So you guys, please bear with me. Be a little patient. Damn, what was it? I lost it. It's not here. All right. So here's the comment from Sean. It's moving slow. I'm on a serious delay over here. Do you guys think he was already injured, hence why he held out?
No.
Raheem Mostert. I don't think he was injured to start.
I think he wanted the protection due to the COVID and the uncertainty of this season. Deshaun Page, Mike, at 837 was the next one for $25.
Yeah, but I'm trying to find the one that was $10 that we didn't read.
Oh.
No, but when this argument happened, when he did that holdout, it wasn't about injury. It was about the fact that when he signed his extension to begin with, he wasn't a starting running back. And so he wanted to be compensated for the job he was doing, and that's why he held out. It had nothing. I don't think it had anything to do with the injury or the upcoming season. I think it had to do everything with the weight he carried in the postseason last year.
And see, I don't think it had. All right, I think you're right, but I think you're wrong. I don't think it was necessarily about being a starter as much as it was, you guys want me to start, and I have no game guarantees. You can cut me week 2, and I get nothing for it. I only get paid for week 1. So
protection.
Right. It was about the protection. Why is it that he rushed Mostert back and let him play on his high ankle sprain, but not have Jimmy come back? Oh, we're about to get into it. Kyle got Raheem hurt. I'm sorry. He could have protected him like he is with Jimmy. Oh, Mark is here today. Okay, so I can't remove the comment. Let's answer this question here. Tony, I want you to go first on this one, man.
It's called the injury guarantee of the Jimmy Garoppolo contract. If he gets hurt, they're on the hook for the money. That's what it comes down to. And we said this, repetitively on this show. If this team felt he was the future of the 49ers going forward, or a piece, if you want to call him a game manager, a franchise quarterback, a stop the gap, like just bridge quarterback, whatever you want to call him, if he was truly that guy, this contract would have been restructured last offseason to give them room to bring back all the – we wouldn't have 40 free agents going into free agency this year. Just put it like that. But the simple fact that they've not touched that contract, but they've touched Quan, D. Ford, and Richburg, that screams to me that they are being super cautious with him because God forbid he steps on the field, he plays, he blows that ankle out, he cannot pass a physical, we're on the hook for that contract.
Yep.
That's the issue here.
Okay. All right. Well, does anybody disagree with what Tony said?
Nope. The only thing I did was I went back and I looked. It is possible if they decide to stay before. If anybody you guys were watching or whatever, you know that I was pretty hardcore about either they're going to have to restructure or release Jimmy in order to make this work with all the offseason moves, right? And so I went back and I looked at the contract that he got 3 years ago, and then looked at what we could do. And the best that I can come up with is if you give him a 3-year extension with a $15 million signing bonus, it puts his cap at 7.3 next year, which opens up 19.6 roughly $1 million for cap space, and we keep him on the roster. So if Jimmy is the plan, there are ways to move forward with having a much smaller impact and opening up a pretty sizable chunk of cap space. And, you know, Prague will do what he's going to do to make that work. You know, that's how it's going to happen. But.
Yeah. Very interesting. Can you repeat that for Tony one more time? I know he stepped away and I'm not sure he heard what you said, but that's very interesting because we've been talking about the salary cap and what it means. And, you know, what we settled on was basically that it seems like the cap is going to stay where it was and not drop to the 175, which will alleviate, you know, almost $20 million of cap space. But still, say what you said so Tony can hear it.
Tony was just talking about Jimmy G's contract and previously talking about the extensions that we would have to do. So I went back and crunched some numbers, and I think that we can do a 3-year extension on him with guarantees for 21, 22, and 23 with nothing guaranteed in 24 or 25, because that's how long that 3 years would push him out. It would be a $15 million signing bonus with minimal base salary for 21 and 22, which puts his cap hit at around, it was just under 7.5 million for next year, which would still open up over 19 million in cap space. So that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, that's very logical. It makes 100% sense. I understand that. But the problem is I don't think they want to do that.
I agree. I'm just saying that's an option to keep him in there if that's something they're planning on doing.
I agree with what you're saying. I just don't feel – I don't want to get into it because this could be a whole show and talking about Jimmy. And listen, we're not here to bash Jimmy Garoppolo. He came in. The 49ers were very smart when they gave him this deal. They front-loaded the shit out of this deal because they knew he was going to be there for year one of this deal. Year two of the deal, they front-loaded it because they had to spend X amount of salary cap that was being carried over from previous seasons. So that was very smart. And that's why they're in this position where they could say, well, you know what?
Right.
Because if they want to retain a quarter of these free agents, Juice, Trent Williams, Hyder, I think deserves to come back.
Hyder, Dwelly, you know, there's a bunch of
them. You're talking, you need money, and now you're talking about allocating all this money into a quarterback where you're not 100% sold on. Timeout, me. Vegas made 81. Pull that up, Mike. He's asking about where I got this sweatshirt from.
I can't pull that up until we get the other comments, the contributions first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Vegas, we'll get back to you, but I got this off of the Nothing But Niners website.
That's right, baby. NothingButNiners.com. Click the shop tab, and it'll take you right to our store site. You guys can get a whole bunch of cool shit over there, man. So make sure you guys go to NothingButNiners.com and hit the shop tab. Shop. All right. Here's a contribution here from American Anatomy. Oh, nope. I was kidding. What is an anatomy? What is that? Somebody tell me what that is. No?
Okay. So what's the comment say?
It says, do you guys think that Kyle's scheme, stretch out some – okay, I can't. Hold on.
Kyle's scheme stretch out of the plays so that exposes these players and they get hurt or QB inaccuracy. No.
Oh, okay. I got it. By the way, I love that pit. That is a blue nose pit. That is a beautiful dog right there.
I'm just going to call you American, okay? If you sit down and you have time, go back and try to watch like all 22 or replays of games. and you see specifically on the majority of his passing routes that there are either one or two definite reads that are wide open, that are designed to be open, where the quarterback just needs to make that read and just make that delivery. And all the quarterbacks for the 49ers struggle at that. And that's why we're talking about a quarterback as a position of need going forward. Because if you watch the sidelines tell you a lot. Shanahan throwing his play card up in the air, his call sheet, receivers raising their hands, like looking around, like, come on, man, like come on. Like it's a very tough situation. And I don't know if it's talent as far as Jimmy. I don't know if it's talent. I don't know if it's just he's not comfortable. I don't know if it's the game's moving too fast for him. I really wish he could pick up and be that quarterback we all hope and expect him to be and want him to be, but something's not clicking there. And as far as Nick Mullins and C.J. Beathard, Nick Mullins was a damn undrafted free agent playing a starting quarterback of a Super Bowl contending team prior to the injuries. So, there's a lot on his plate too. Maybe the stage is too big for him. But my beef with Nick Mullins is if you watch the Dallas Cowboy game, 24-24 with 10 minutes left on the clock in the fourth quarter, and then shit just explodes. He made big plays. He made big throws in that game versus Dallas, but then he made throws where you were like, yo, what the hell are you thinking? Are you colorblind? So it's tough, man. You need a quarterback. I don't give a shit who's your coach, what offensive philosophy you believe in. You need a quarterback to make throws. If you don't have a quarterback that can't make these throws, your offense is going to hit a wall and you're going to be in trouble, because that's what the 49ers are facing right now. They're facing sometimes 8 men in the box, taking away the outside. And I know it's repetitive. I know I'm saying this over and over, but it's facts, and just look at it and you'll see it.
Yeah. Brian, do you think that the system puts players at a higher rate of injury,
No.
at risk of a higher rate of injury, I should say?
No.
And do you want to elaborate, or you want to state what Tony said, or just no?
No, it's basically the same thing Tony said. But I mean, you've seen many other teams trying to do the similar type tactics as what we're doing, and their players are not getting injured. I don't think it's just happenstance. I mean,
Yeah.
And people blame the turf. People blame throws that are behind. People blame throws that are ahead. Exposing your wide receivers so they're taking body blows. I mean, yes, accuracy of the quarterback's important when it comes to limiting those types of things, but I don't put it on the play design. It's execution by the players, as far as I'm concerned, and that's across the board. It's not one. I don't think it's because any given quarterback on our team has thrown the ball inaccurately. I think it's just execution. The defense playing the way they do against our receivers because they know what our receivers can do. And unfortunately, that's part of the game. And so I think that I can't put the blame on either one of those things. It's just player execution and sometimes just luck of the draw, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I gotta be honest with you. I'm sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
I was just a quick point, and I'd like to get your guys' thoughts too, because I don't know that we're having this conversation about Jimmy at all if the COVID situation doesn't show up and we don't have a decreased salary cap. If the salary cap stays on track to go where it was supposed to go next year, I don't know that we're having this conversation. I'm glad that we're having this conversation. And they had a spot and a loop and a hole in his contract to allow them to do this if they wanted to. But I don't think it would have been front page news like it is right now, for us anyway, because we wouldn't be justifying moving Jimmy because of salary cap. We would have to be justifying moving Jimmy because someone would have to admit they fucked up.
Personally, I'm completely okay with Jimmy's salary cap if he's the starter.
Sure.
What I'm not okay with is the way he looked and that salary. Those two don't match up. The way Jimmy played and how much he's getting paid don't equal the same to me. And that's what my problem is. So regardless of the salary cap situation, I would be having this conversation. Is Jimmy the guy? Not how can we get out of a contract? Is he the guy, and should we be looking for someone else? That would be my conversation right now.
Right, but we wouldn't be pushing ourselves because of the salary cap. We wouldn't, like right now we're looking at 40 potential free agents that we have to figure out who we want to sign or who we want to get from somewhere else or what we're going to draft. And you have to take all the draft places, all of our drafts into selections into consideration with what the NFLPA has as their slotted salary for what, so we have to have the cap space to sign our our draft selections.
Mm-hmm.
So while I'm happy that we're having this discussion, I think that the salary cap is pushing this discussion to happen at the team's level. It's not just us having this conversation.
Yeah.
They're really having to look at what the hell are we going to do next year in order to get all these people, and that's why they're playing.
I think what raised the flag on me, like
gloves, I guess,
really turned my attention and started questioning Jimmy, was in the playoff game versus Minnesota. That game made me realize that I kind of feel that the trust isn't there, because there was a play where he threw a crosser. Now Jimmy's pretty good on crossing routes. He overthrew Kittle and it hit Eric Kendricks right in the face mask. Like, he was in shock. And ever since that play, I don't think Jimmy threw the ball more than 3 times the rest of the game. And that was early in the game.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's very concerning. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's a trickle-down effect. If you look at the rest of the playoffs into the Super Bowl, you see it. The confidence was not there in Jimmy. Jimmy missed 3 huge throws in the Super Bowl. These throws were so effing big. I'm going to say we should be having the ring on our finger rather than Kansas City. That's how big these throws were.
No, I agree with that. But what I'm not comfortable with saying is one throw change how you look at a quarterback entirely. Maybe for the remainder of that game, maybe. But in that moment, in that moment,
through the rest of the playoffs.
No. Well, because look, our divisional game was against who? The Vikings.
Yes.
Then there was the championship game,
Green Bay, which was a very heavy run game.
Right. But Jimmy threw the ball more in the Packers game than he did in the Vikings game.
It was very similar to what we did this year with Jimmy to try to hide him.
Right. And then the Super Bowl, he had more downfield throw. Look, hindsight is 20/20, but in that moment, I just felt like the run game was so damn dominant that Shanahan would be silly to throw. I don't care if Jimmy could throw the ball 120 yards and land the tip of the ball on a dime. There's no need to do that if you can control the clock, get 7+ yards a carry, and know you're going to score on every drive. I don't want you throwing the ball. Get this game over with so we can go home.
Yeah.
Don't throw.
I'm just saying that caught my attention. And then when I saw him in the Super Bowl missing those throws and not even seeing George Kittle, like, I don't know if you guys saw the movie Unnecessary Roughness where the little guy number 88 standing in the end zone doing jumping jacks. That was George Kittle in the middle of the field.
No, it was.
We didn't see that.
Right. No,
now,
and I get what you're saying.
And you make that throw, first down. The possession, the clock burns. It's things like that where, all right, yeah, Jimmy's making $27 million, right? But do you want to pay $27 million and tie up that much money in someone where you know this is his ceiling and it's not going any higher?
Right.
You know what Jimmy Garoppolo offers right now. It's on tape. It's on film. Coordinators see it. They know it. And that's why Kyle had to switch the offense to that shovel pass to get the ball out of his hands, to try to open up the middle, to try to get Jimmy back into his comfort zone where they were stacking the middle of the field. And so, I don't want to make this the Jimmy Garoppolo show or the quarterback debate. We can move on to the next topic, but I'm just telling you, like, my observation from what I've seen going into this, and what the scary part with me was how he came out versus Arizona. He looked absolutely lost in week 1. And that's very concerning.
I just want to be clear. I'm not saying that I'm pro Jimmy. I'm just saying that the options are out there.
No, I understand. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I'm saying, like, if their plan is to, if they feel as though he's their guy, then I was looking at extensions for that purpose, and that's the closest I can really find to think that it would be something that would still be acceptable to a starting quarterback in the NFL. You know what I'm saying?
I think he would be a phenomenal backup. I think we should keep him here for a quarterback competition, and we should go from there. I honestly think that. I really do. I would restructure him. I'm not paying him $27.5 million a year to be the backup. I would definitely.
There's no way in hell his agent will do that, Mike. I'm telling you right now.
No what?
There's no way in hell Don Yee will do
his
that.
agent.
I'm telling you now.
Don Yee also doesn't think Jimmy's getting $27 million from anybody else right now either. He's not.
I guarantee you, Don Yee can get him a job. Guarantee you.
A job, yes. $27 million, no. That's not happening. That's not happening. Right? Do we at least all agree on that? No, we don't. Okay, all right. Well, we won't do that.
I see some weird shit in the NFL, man.
Another conversation for another time. No problem. Listen, Jashawn Page has a $25 contribution. Thank you for it very much. He says, "What's up, Niner gang? Zach Wilson should clean this mess up with a new rebuilt offensive line." And my response to this is pretty simple: you don't get Zach Wilson and a rebuilt offensive line. You got to pick, because what Zach Wilson is going to cost you to get is going to be more than pick number 9 in this draft. You're going to have to move up to get Zach Wilson, and the only guy that you're going to get in free agency that you're going to like is probably the center. Okay, but you're still going to be looking at what? The right guard. Where are you getting him from? You're going to be looking.
I think the right guard. I honestly believe. I really like what I've seen from McKivitz. I really do.
We need a left tackle.
He's young and he's raw, but I will tell you this: he plays, he improves. He doesn't descend; he ascends. He ascends. So it's not like his play is dropping. He's improving week by week by week. So that's very encouraging. Number one. Number two, I think, like we said this before, the most important position in this offensive line is the center position. It's not your skill set. It's not your ability to pass block and run block. It's your ability to call out the blocking schemes, identify where to go, who's the cutoff guy, who's the molly guy off to the second level. And that's what you need an experienced veteran for.
And that experienced veteran is going to cost us $13 million a year.
Alex Mack? No way. 36 years old?
He's going to cost us $13 million.
I guarantee you get Alex Mack anywhere between 8 to 10 million.
I'm going to look up center salaries right now on spot. I don't know, but Brian, I want to get your take on it.
I already said I don't think that they take a quarterback in the first round. I don't.
Man. How do you guys not think that that's the top need for this team?
I'm not saying it's not a top need. I'm saying given the candidates that are available come for the draft, I don't see any. If you're not picking 1 or 2 and taking the pick of the litter, the other 3, however you want to stack them, I just don't see them picking them at 10 when they could take a top tier safety, cornerback, or defensive end. Just, I feel like those are more along the lines with how this regime is building this team. So either get a speedy, a defensive end to replace Ford, or you go get and start rebuilding your cornerback crew, right?
There's ways you could do it, but they got to be very frugal with their cap. They got to move on from the high-priced guys that they have options to move on from, i.e. Jimmy Garoppolo. If they can move on from D Ford, if Richburg decides to retire because the knee injury that he sustained was devastating, and you're talking about a guy previously, who was the last guy that had the same type of injury as Weston Richburg? Does anybody know?
Nope.
Victor Cruz. What happened to Victor Cruz when he sustained that knee injury?
Oh.
He didn't finish. He's done.
He retired.
That's a career-ending knee injury, what he sustained. So what he suffered. So with that being said, if they can get out of these deals without getting crucified in the cap, like Jimmy, they're good. I think they could. If Richburg retires, I think they'll be on the hook for minimal. D Ford might be a little hairy to deal with, but if D Ford retires, because go ahead.
So I think I went back and looked at some numbers, and I think that what you see is Richburg get cut in the beginning, and then they're going to hold on to D or have D not retire until after the 6-1 deadline, so they can split that and use that money to sign the draftees.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I think.
I mean, listen, there's plans, there's ways to rebuild this team. It's not a full rebuild. They got to replenish this roster. And they got to move on from the errors, and they got to move on from the high-priced veterans that aren't in their plans. They did a Quan Alexander. They got to move on from Pittsburgh. What?
I was going to get to centers. I got the center salaries pulled up.
Go ahead.
You're not going to like it.
Real quick before you move on to that, because we're talking about this question that's here, right? I was going to ask Mike, because he's very specific about his words. When we last discussed quarterbacks going in the first round, you were very surprised when I said that Trask when I thought he would be gone in the first round, and you were saying that he would probably last to the second round.
I think Trask, all right, I have, the way I see it, 5 quarterbacks going in the first round. I'm not sure Trask is quarterback number 5. I think he's quarterback number 6. But either way, I think the Niners can trade down and acquire him, and that changes everything we're discussing.
Sure.
If the Niners can trade down and still acquire Kyle Trask. So you're right in what you're saying. I get it.
I just want to make sure that I didn't want to mess up your words because I know that those are very
you're absolutely right. You are 100% right. I'm a stickler for words. My wife hates me because of it.
Right. But I could see them trading back into the first round and picking up like Matt Jones or Trask if they're available. I could see that. But I think that first original pick that we have, whether it's a 6 or a 15, depending on, or 12, wherever we end up finishing, I think that's going to be a defensive pick.
Yep.
Or a guard. I like Wyatt Davis. I do like that guy.
So your center position, your top center is Ryan Kelly at $12.5 million. The next one is Rodney Hudson at $11.25.
Okay.
And then it's Mitch Morris at $11.125.
Okay.
Then it's Marquise Pouncey at $11 million. And Nick Martin at $11
all
million.
Younger, by the way. These guys that you mentioned were all younger than Mac.
Okay, younger than Mac, but it doesn't devalue how good he is.
I understand that.
He's still going to demand.
He's looking to try to win a championship at this point of his career. So he's going to go into a system where he's comfortable and gives him the best opportunity to try to compete for a Super Bowl championship. He knows Kyle's system. Kyle handpicked this guy from Cleveland.
Jason Kelsey and Corey Lindsey are the only 2 centers making $8 million a year.
And
everybody else.
And Lindsey's a Pro Bowl center, I believe. Is he a Pro Bowl center for Green Bay?
I don't know if he made the Pro Bowl or not, but I'm just saying I'm not sure you're getting Mac for that low. That's all. We'll see. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm just not sure that it goes down that way. But yeah, so look, our last segment here, I know we were supposed to be doing just an hour show. We hear who is Cheryl? What is happening right now? I wanted to ask you guys a couple of questions here.
Well, we kind of went through the things that you talked about, and we're up to where Kittle. You had questions about Kittle?
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about George Kittle here. And the question is going across the bottom of the screen here. Let's start with Wayne because we haven't heard from him for a while. And it's, should George Kittle play on Sunday? Kyle Shanahan said that it was very important to him to get George Kittle back in practice last week because he looks like he's ready to make a return. A beat writer said, is Kittle healthy enough to play? Said he believes so. So there's a strong chance that Kittle plays on Sunday. And then that person said, well, we're already eliminated from playoff contention. Why would you put Kittle out there? And Kyle simply said, how can I let people know that one guy is healthy and say, but he's not going to play and put other people out there? I can't look these men in the eyes and say that he's more important than you. So, yes, it's right that he goes out there and plays. So the question is, should George Kittle play on Sunday?
If he's cleared to play, yes. If he's cleared and he's healthy and he's ready to go and he can play, absolutely. And that's on Saturday too, by the way.
Damn, look at you.
So I'm just saying, if Kittle is available, Hustle Dragons again. If Kittle is available and he's been deemed and cleared to play, number one, George Kittle, if he's cleared to play, he's gonna play. It's gonna take Kyle Shanahan, George Lynch, his agent, his mama, whatever, to convince him not to play. That's just his mindset.
You don't think it's worth protecting the investment?
Do I think it's worth? Look, football, you can't protect injuries, bro. Like you either gonna get hurt or you're not. So you just got to go out there and ball out. You know what I'm saying? You can't sit there and be like, oh, this guy's not going to get hurt, or this guy's. You can't play like that. You can't play timid. You got to go out there and ball out. Now, if his injury is deemed to be re-aggravated or re-injured, and it's not the best chance, meaning that he's not. What do you think the percentage needs to be, guys? Like 80%, 82%? What should the percentage be for these guys to be deemed to play? Because I know he's not 100%. You know what I'm saying? But if he's 80% or above, I think he should go out there and ball out.
Well, I understand what you're saying, Wayne, and I agree that if he's healthy, he should. But I also think I like to play devil's advocate. And how much is everybody going to tear the shit out of Shanahan if he goes out there and blows out his knee and we lose him for next season?
That's what he get paid all that money for, to get the shit torn out of him, bro.
Well, I'll save it till we have something worth fighting for. Right now, we don't.
Hey, look, at the end of the day, that's what he gets paid for, yo. It's his decision.
To Brian's point, if Kittle goes out there and I don't care if he breaks a finger, nothing to do with a football. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing that's.
If that's the case, guys, then everybody should just quit. What the fuck?
No,
what are we talking about? Like,
I understand what you're saying.
Everybody should sit out because no one is safe from injury. No one.
Right. But what I'm saying is that they're going to kill Kyle Shanahan.
And he gets paid to get killed. I mean, if Kyle is saying, yo, I can't put no one bigger than this team, whether they're meaningless games or not, there's still NFL scheduled games. And I don't know about you, but I pay my cable bill, so I don't want to see a bunch of rejects on the field. I want to see the guys I'm paying for to be on the field. It sucks that we don't have our stars playing. Kyle's gonna get the meat and potatoes whether he plays or not. So at the end of the day, guys, they get paid to play. If he's healthy enough to play, we've had this conversation before. I think with Joe Staley last year. If they're deemed healthy to play, they should go out there and play. You can't protect players. It's hard to say. It's hard. It's hard, but I think he should play.
So, Brian, the question is to you now. Should he play on Saturday? And then not only that, we've seen Kyle Shanahan hide George Kittle before. George Kittle returned from a game, and he got one target that entire game. Yep. Shanahan used him mainly as a blocker and as a decoy. Mm-hmm. Should he play on Saturday? And if your answer is yes, to what capacity do you use him?
Well, that's why I said devil's advocate earlier, because I absolutely believe he should be out there playing. And I think he should be out there playing to win the game, even though I know it's going to cost us potential draft pick, where we stack up in draft selection. But that's exactly like Wayne's saying. That's what they get paid to do. They should be out there playing. I was just playing devil's advocate to how this is going to go the other way if something happens to him.
Okay. All right. I like it, man. Tony, the ball's in your court, man. You got George Kittle out there. This guy just got a big-ass contract. He's the highest paid tight end in NFL history. The season is over. George Kittle actually was not voted to the Pro Bowl this year either. Think about that.
Like 2 games.
He didn't have enough games, I don't think.
He wasn't voted to the Pro Bowl. It's a fan vote, and they did not vote George Kittle. He was not one of the 3 49er players to make it to the Pro Bowl. Do you guys know who they were? You guys know who the 3 49 players were?
Yeah, Trent, Kyle, and Fred.
Trent Williams, Kyle Juszczyk, and Fred Warner. And George Kittle was not one of them. But should the 49ers be trying to protect their franchise guy in George Kittle, maybe perhaps protecting him from himself and saying, hey, George, sit this one out. How do you feel about it, man? Honestly, because look, Tony, I know you. If George Kittle gets injured, you're going to be pissed off. You're going to call me cursing.
I personally don't want to see him on the field.
I'll be pissed off too, but
I think he'll be dressed because they're going to have to dress people because they don't have anybody. But I really don't want to see him step on that field. I don't. I mean, it's not worth risking another season because you got to remember something. He's nowhere in any type of football shape. You could run sprints all day you want. That's not football movements. Football movements are sprinting, stopping, cutting on a dime, agility, side to side, left, lateral movement. His body's not used to that. And all it takes is for him to hit that turf the wrong way. He could pop an ACL, he could pop an Achilles, he could pop a calf, a hamstring, and then you got a big effing problem on your hands because now you're jeopardizing 2021. So my opinion, the Niners are out of eliminated playoff contention. You know what you have in George Kittle. Let him rest up. Let him get better for 2021. Let's see what Dwelly has. Let's see what Reed has. Reed's a free agent. Dwelly's a free agent. Let's see what they can give more in these last 2 games. And we can make a decision. All right, listen, let's try to bring back Reed. And let's go with Reed and Kittle next year.
Here's what
is the third.
Here's where the 49ers messed up, Tony. They cleared him to practice. And that's where they made their mistake. So if you're going to clear the best player on your team to practice, that means he must be healthy enough to play.
Did they clear him or did they open his window? Because opening the window and opening the window is different. What that does is give you 20 days period.
They opened the window
to make a decision whether he's going to be activated or he's just going to stay and ride the IR out for the rest of the season. Obviously, there's only 2 weeks left, so that does not exceed 21 days. But they just did it with Garoppolo today. They opened his 21-day window.
But perhaps Shanahan messed up, Tony. On the field. Maybe Shanahan messed up because Shanahan said he looks good enough to play, and if it continues the way it is, he should be ready on Saturday.
Yeah.
These aren't my words.
Our argument not argument, but what we were talking about earlier, Tony, they opened up Garoppolo's window to make sure and ensure that he clears through to be medically cleared so they can do whatever they want to do at the end of the season.
Yeah, correct. 100%. I agree with that. And they opened Kittle's because they knew it's less than 21 days. So either way, if he doesn't play, it's not going to change anything. It's just going to be he's going to have an opportunity if they feel like they want. I mean, when did they open his window? Last week before we were 100% knocked out, right?
Right. So I think that part of the reason they opened that window because if they found a way to beat Dallas, then they would have Kittle available for the Arizona.
They have the opportunity to bring him in now because his window was open.
So hindsight is 20/20, and that's why I asked the question the way I did. We are eliminated from playoff contention. Are you guys putting him in there?
No.
Tony's giving a no.
I'm not putting him in. I'm not putting Jimmy in. I'm not putting anybody in.
Well, then why are we playing?
I said this numerous amount of times. It's about evaluation for 2021. This season was over in week 3.
I get the logic in what you're saying. I just don't understand. If you're not putting anybody in, who the hell is going to play the game?
Whoever's in.
Whoever's in.
Said you weren't putting anybody in.
He's not going to put any of the marquee players in.
I'm not putting my
veterans in. We're sitting Brandon Ayuk, and that's it on offense. Right?
No. Why would you put Brandon Ayuk last week?
Kittle didn't play last week.
No, but they're not even playing. So I'm not even counting them, right? So I'm counting the starters. I'm counting the guys.
No, what I'm saying is I'm not putting anybody in that's coming off of an injury that has not played a game in at least 8 to 10 weeks.
Oh,
forget the injury. All right, let's do it this way. Now you already made your piece. You said no on Kittle. Breezy, correct. You said yes, right? Brian, you went back and forth. You settled on no, though, right?
No, I said I would play him.
Oh, you would? Okay.
But I understand totally where Tony's coming from 100%.
No, I understand, and I agree with where he's coming from. Doesn't mean I agree with his answer, but Breezy brought up a very, very good name. Brandon Ayuk. Let's go around really quickly. Everybody give me a yes or no. Would you play him?
Yeah, because he's not injured. He's not coming off an injury.
Okay.
But he has a possibility.
Listen, you can get hit by a truck tomorrow and die. It is what it is. It's part of your life.
Why not play George Kittle?
Exactly.
Anything can happen, bro.
The difference is
because the medical doctors say whether or not
for the last 10 weeks, his
medical doctors will tell you what
conditioning shape.
Healed or not healed.
Sitting in the stand.
Like I said, if Kittle isn't medically cleared, then yes, he
shouldn't play him. And if he tears his ACL or pops an Achilles, then what do?
Then you figure it out. You figure the shit out when you get there.
This is $7.5 million a year. That's what you say.
Anybody could do that. Like Brandon Ayuk been struggling with injuries at the beginning of the year, and he comes back, and we're hoping he's healthy. One bad throw could take him out for 2 years.
Yeah.
So if we're going to,
the thing that you're missing is Ayuk is in football condition.
I understand that.
Okay.
That I understand, but that doesn't mean Kittle can't be used differently. They could use Kittle in run block. You don't need to be in football condition to run block.
If his legs get tangled up and he gets hurt, I mean, listen, we can go back and forth all day.
All I'm saying is anything can happen. So at the end of the day, so Tony's saying don't play anybody coming off of the injury list.
Coming off of an injury, right? That's his answer. Right. Okay.
Because Kyle uses that caveat. If medical tells me he's good to go, he's good to go. But medical doesn't give a shit if he's in football shape. All they care about is his injury
Is
good.
the injury itself clear, right? And that's why Kyle was saying this nonsense about Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think he's wording it the way he's wording it on purpose. He has been saying consistently about Jimmy Garoppolo, if they can guarantee me he won't re-injure that injury, I'll put him back out there. We all know there is 100% no guarantee that anybody won't injure anything in football.
Right.
We know that.
Just remember how George Kittle got hurt by two horrible passes from a quarterback. Two horrible passes got this guy hurt. Hung him out to dry. You want to risk that in 2 weeks left in the game?
Yeah. No, I get you. I tell you what.
Line up. It's not worth it. Believe me. If this game had like meaning, if you're telling me if they win tomorrow, they're locked into the playoffs.
But what message is that sending to everybody else?
Well, that's what I'm going to get.
The message is the fact that he got the salary that he got. They've already told him that he's a great player by giving him the money they gave him.
Okay.
So they already raised him above the other players.
Right now. Okay. Perfect caveat, because now I'm going to give you guys my answer, and I'm going to let you guys respond to it. Because this is what I'm going to say. If I'm a tight end making $125,000 a year and George Kittle is making $16 million a year, he better get his $16 million ass out there and risk injury and not me. You're the guy getting paid the big bucks. If I got to risk my less than $200,000 ass, you can get your $16 million ass out there and go play. And if not, Kyle Shanahan, F you. You can't come to me and talk to me and try to pump me up and say you need to go out here and execute. No, because you're not asking the guy that you pay the big bucks to go out there and execute. Kyle Shanahan messed up by going to the microphone and saying Kittle looks like he's healthy enough to
I have a question for you. What's the difference between this week and last week? This week, he was cleared last week.
He was cleared by the medical staff last week. Kyle said, I want to give him more time to see. This week, Kyle said he looks like he's ready to go. And as far as I see, he should be out there on Saturday. That's the difference this week. And if Shanahan says that, and then he comes to the team and says, hey, we don't want to risk George Kittle. George Kittle's got the injury guarantees. I don't. George Kittle's got the higher salary. I don't. He should be the one that's out there playing. You can't talk to the top 3% and expect the other 97% to respond well to you. That's why I
know Kyle's way around that. Simply this: the medical team advised me to hold him out.
No way. The medical team has already cleared him to go out there.
But that's what I said. That's what I said from the jump.
Taking my snaps.
But that's what I said from the jump. I said if he's not,
he can get around it, Mike. And believe me, these guys want a roster spot. They want an opportunity to compete in the NFL. I don't care if you make 90,000, 50 million. If you have an opportunity to play at 100,000, you're going to go out there and play your best because you're worried about yourself and your future. Whether it's with the 49ers, the Jets, the Giants, the Cowboys, whatever.
No. You're talking about me going out there and earning and making a name for myself. What I'm talking about is Kyle Shanahan coming to me trying to motivate me to go play when he's protecting the $1 million man over there on the sideline. You can't speak to me about going out there and performing and being a man and holding up my end of the deal when you got the guy making literally 10 times as much as me sitting on his ass and you already said he's healthy. F you as a coach. F you as a motivator. F you
as a coach then. That's it. I don't know what to tell you. That's the way it is.
That's how I would react. Don't come to me. Now, look, you want to put George Kittle. Hey, look, he's leading by example. Hey, coach, then put it on me. Hey, coach, listen, let me be the guy to say, protect him. Give me his reps. I got this. Protect the team, protect the investment. Make it my decision. But don't you, as the coach, say, we want to wrap him in bubble wrap and we want to risk
you would never say that to him, right?
We want to. Of course, he would never say that, but that's what he's saying. If you go to the microphone and say he's ready to play on Saturday, and then say, "Oh no, we don't want him to play," you're kidding yourself if you don't think that's the message that's going through to the team.
Okay, whatever.
That's nonsense. There's no way that you can say,
Mike. It's called business. You're protecting your investments.
I understand. You paid him the big bucks for a reason.
And believe me, I can promise you this: he will pull it off to cover his ass and put it on the medical staff. I'm telling you.
All right, Kyle will lose. Kyle Shanahan. Listen, I will say it right now. Kyle Shanahan will lose this locker room after the press conference he gave today. Forget anything else that happened. What his words were today concerning George Kittle was that he's healthy enough to play on Saturday. He expects him to play on Saturday, and he was cleared last week. If George Kittle does not go out there and play on Saturday, Kyle Shanahan loses this entire locker room.
The only way he doesn't lose the locker room is if what Tony said. Something
Jordan
medically
better
happens.
pull up tight. He better pull up tight on Christmas Day.
No,
Something better go wrong with a hamstring.
I'm
So
saying,
let me ask you something, Mike. Let's flip the script on you now. What's your excuse for Richard Sherman?
I've been against Richard Sherman for that long.
For a strained calf. Please do tell.
Wait, say that again.
I'm here. Do
Say
tell.
it again. What did you say?
13 games for a strained calf for Richard Sherman. How do you get in Witherspoon's ass? How do you get in Mosley's ass and say, well, we need you to step up because Sherman's got a calf injury? Like, it's Tony, the same thing.
No, you're right. And what did I say from the beginning?
Did he lose the locker room?
Tony, week 1, I said Sherman don't want to be here.
Exactly. But what I'm trying to tell you, did he lose the locker room?
He can't lose a locker room because that was Sherman sitting himself. I was against Sherman all along. And after Akello played well, and even before he played well, what did I say? We don't deserve Akello. I've been saying that. I've been consistent on this all the way across the board. Don't protect guys getting paid a lot of money. The people making more money should get their asses out there. I've been firm and consistent. And I've been against Sherman for a long time. It's documented, bro. I've been against Sherman playing the games that he's playing. I said you can't do that, making that much money and the way people look up to you. What Sherman was doing was personal. It had nothing to do with business. We went from no injury and missing a couple of snaps to him going to the microphone following that game in week 1 saying, I'm okay, I'll be out there week 2. And the next thing we know, we don't see Sherman for 10 more games. And I was like, this is more than football. There's a problem here. Richard Sherman has checked out mentally. I was on that train all along. I never justified him not playing.
You never once mentioned about losing the locker room.
Because that was a Sherman. That wasn't Kyle. That wasn't Kyle.
Kyle allowed Sherman to remove himself and say, I'm not playing. That's what I'm trying to say to you.
No, because that's a player being selfish. The same way people turned on Akello when they thought Akello said, hey, I don't want to play this game. And then we got burned by that guy. What was his name? Allen? What was the corner's name? Adams?
Brian Allen.
Remember when Brian and people blamed Akello for that because they thought Akello said, I don't want to go out there and play this game. And then those 3 touchdowns went by. People said that Akello put himself before the team and the team suffered because of that. Right. And so people killed him for that. If this happens now with George Kittle, it's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. You cannot put the player before the team.
Yep. But you got to protect your investment. All right, what's next? Oh, because you do. Like, I get the business side of it. I just feel like the message is wrong. Like, Kyle set it up wrong. I don't care what y'all say. He messed that up.
He did. That's what I said, Wayne. I said after Kyle said what he said, there's no way he can sit George Kittle this week. George Kittle has to come up tight in practice. He has to. The only way you cannot play George Kittle on Saturday is if something goes wrong in practice this week. He made it sound like George Kittle was cleared and ready.
Right.
You just said
they
yourself.
put him on the field. It isn't part of their true game plan. Maybe he's just blocking. He's not going to be out there receiving anything.
Sure.
Not plays won't be intentionally set up for him like we've seen him in the past, so they can kind of protect him, right? But he's still out there,
and he still presents a matchup nightmare.
Right. He's wearing that C. That's.
Mm-hmm.
So he could be a decoy. We see players come back off of injuries and be just a decoy. Hey, take some of this double team off.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? We see it all the time, but we don't want him to come in here and do it because this game is meaningless. I get it. I don't know, man. It is what it is, yo.
I just don't think you can do that. It just feels weird to me. That's all. It just feels weird. Let me see if we got to all of our important talking points. I had questions, but I won't ask those questions. I will ask one question though to everybody on the panel. Season is over. We're not going to the playoffs. What are we watching or hoping for? Everybody just give me one thing that you want to see the rest of the season from this team. What are we hoping for? It can be losses for a higher draft pick. Is there a certain player that you're keeping your eye on, certain position group? Maybe it's all the corners and DBs so you can see who's worth keeping. Is it the running back situation? Is it the quarterbacks?
I'm going to say what I said all the time, roster evaluation moving forward for 21.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
it.
would agree with Tony, but I also think that just watching how how this team, how these individual players are going to do for these last two games when they know there's nothing ahead for them. You know, how a losing team deals with these unimportant games, if you will, right? How they deal with that and how they motivate themselves to play the best that they can when they have nothing to play for, really, is what I'm going to be looking for, just to see if they're still putting in effort. Because you could see Richard was playing at like 80%. Like, he just didn't give a shit. It didn't seem like in his last game against Dallas.
You talking about Sherman?
Yeah, he just did it from the very beginning. He didn't look like his heart wasn't in it. He looked like he was playing about 80% of what he normally plays.
Okay. All right.
So I'm looking at how they finish.
You guys are looking at evaluation and heart. You guys are evaluating the rest of the roster, and you want to see the heart. So, Brian, your answer actually sounds very different than Tony's. Tony is saying, I want to assess each player individually. Yeah. Your answer is more about, I want to see if they're motivated to play.
Sure.
Is that more of a critique of the coaching staff or the individuals?
No, I mean, it's still, you have to find what's in you that drives you to be great at what you're doing, right? Because all these people want to be in the Hall of Fame. There's not one NFL player who doesn't hope that someday they're in Canton, right? And if they are, they probably shouldn't be here. But almost every one of these players got to be hoping that that's where they end up. Well, you have to have a few things to get there. One, you have to have had the luck to have the ability to play as much as you can, right? I mean, some people who have been excellent players have had their entire career derailed by injury, and then we never got to see what they could have been. But if these guys go out and they just play half-assed for the last two games because there's nothing for them in the postseason, and that's going to tell me a lot about some of these people that this, if you gave a golden helmet to McKivitz, but McKivitz doesn't go out there and play with 100% of his heart these next two games in whatever they ask him to do, I'm going to have some questions about the evaluating process of the scouting department also.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I like that. Man, Wayne, what are your thoughts on this, man? We're not fighting for a playoff spot. The only team that I think we can stop from making the playoffs is Arizona, but they would have to lose out, and another team would have to win out. We can't stop the Seahawks from getting a postseason spot. They're already in there. What are we cheering for? What are we watching these games for and hoping for?
I mean, number one, we're cheering for a team because that's what we do. We're faithfuls. Number two, I think we're cheering. I'm cheering for the best situation possible going forward. And I would like for the 49ers to personally have a higher draft pick, because that doesn't mean they'll necessarily draft that quarterback with that pick. Maybe they'll be able to trade that pick and get a couple of get an extra later first round pick and an early second round pick. Like, there's so many things that can go down with this 49ers team in this draft. And I'm actually really prepared for the draft. So I would like to see these last two games, see what Kyle can get out of these players. Hopefully, you want to know what I'm looking for? I'm looking for Brandon Ayuk to break Jerry Rice's record. That's the main thing I'm watching. Like,
that would be amazing.
I'm hoping he could break this rookie record and get 1,000 yards. Like, I'm hoping those two things happen. Will they happen? It's probably 30% chance that it happens, but there's a percentage of a chance that it can happen. I'm looking for that to happen. And then I'm looking to see what the 49ers are going to do in the offseason. Before draft, obviously, there's free agency. So I'm actually excited. I'm glad the way our season panned out with all 9,700 injuries. I'm glad it's panning out this way so that the 49ers can be better off in the future.
Okay. All right, Breezy, you just added something to the list for me, man. You said that you're hoping that Brandon Ayuk breaks Jerry Rice's rookie receiving record. Is that it? Do we know what that number is?
He's like 190 yards away or something like that.
So it's a little more than 1,000 yards.
He needs 100. He needs 90 plus yards
per game
in both games.
In these games, yes.
Okay, so I am going to hope for that, and I want that 30. I like those 30% odds. Let me. I posted on Twitter, but I know more people watch this and follow me on Twitter. So, I had my fantasy football playoffs.
That was crazy, bro.
It's a 2-week competition, right?
That was crazy. One,
I'm winning by 40 points. I had a 70% chance at winning. Okay. Sunday night comes and the score is tied 297 to 297. He has one player left to play, and I have a 1% chance at winning. This player is healthy. This player averages 11 points a game, and there was just no chance. And this is a PPR league, and it's an offensive player. There's no chance I win except 1% chance. All right. He had Eric Ebron in, the tight end for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last night in that game, he was targeted. The ball hit his hands. He got hit. He got injured, and they carted him off. We finished that game with a tie. But not only did we finish with a tie, the tiebreaker was based off of the season-ending rankings, what position we ranked in. I ranked number 1. My opponent ranked number 2. And so one more win was all I had that separated us in the rankings because his team scored more points than mine did throughout the season. But I had one more win than he did. That 1% chance was all I needed. I'm pulling for Brandon Ayuk now. I like the long shots. I like the odds. I want to gamble against something like that. I like that. Let's go, BA. I hope he gets this 180, whatever, 190 yards.
He'll benefit from the lack of Debo and potentially Kittle not being maybe a receiver. You know, that helps him.
Hopefully he will. Like if they know that he's being the target, they're gonna try to take that away. But
absolutely.
I'm just hoping CJ in the offensive line and the running game somehow shows up against these two teams. Like I'm hoping it pops up.
You know, the other thing that I'm hoping for, it's a little bit more emotional, but I'm hoping for a win for CJ Beathard. I know it doesn't help the Niners in the long run. I know it actually hurts us if we get a W. But CJ Beathard has been through a lot the last 12 months, losing his brother and listening to Shanahan talk about how after the death of the murder of his brother, he went to the service and then went into immediate isolation so he can get healthy enough and pass the COVID test to come back and get right back with the team. And they just talked about the mental and physical transformation for CJ Beathard. I would love for this team to win one more game for CJ with him under center. I just think that would be a phenomenal feel-good story because I'll be honest with you guys, I don't think he's going to be back next year. Give him a good farewell. Give CJ one more win as a Niner. I think it would be great. That's what I'm hoping for. And I think it could happen against the Cardinals, but that's for the next show. We didn't reflect much on this Cowboys game because it was a horrible game. We were all pissed off. We were all angry. There's not much to talk about here, but the next game, we will talk about the games. We will talk about the past game. I mean, our next show, we will talk about the games, the past game, and the game upcoming before Saturday. So hopefully we will see you guys with us on Thursday when we come back, guys. Any final thoughts before we get up out of here?
Everybody's watching. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Go out there and enjoy it and have fun with your families.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
To the maximum extent possible without, all the pandemic stuff. So
yeah. Breezy, what you got down there, bro?
I love you all, man. Happy holidays.
I hope you get some kisses for those mistletoes. By the way, I have that same. Let me see the side of that hat. Let me turn your. Is that the one with the orange on the side?
It's gold.
The gold. Yeah, that's what I meant. The gold.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see if I can show you without putting my wife on camera here. I'll get here. I'll just have her hand it to me. If I put my wife on camera, I will be divorced.
Come on, Melissa.
Come on, Melissa. You know. Here, give me, baby. Give me the hat. It's okay. It's just a pin. The push pin is in it. Is this the same one?
Yeah.
You guys got different colors. Or it's,
I got football. Oh no, it's a different scheme.
Yeah, you got a football.
Oh, it's a different scheme, but it's got the mistletoe one there too. You know the difference though between me and you?
What?
My head keeps growing. I can't put this bitch on if it costs me my life. I can't, between the size of my head and the hair on top of it, I cannot get this jumpy back on my head. But this is
just put a couple of slits in the side, yo.
Just cut, right? That's what I should do. Here you go, baby.
Mike's like a real life fathead.
yeah. I'm the fathead, except I don't stick on the wall. Tony, man, what are your final thoughts, bro? Let's get up out of here, man.
None. Just Merry Christmas. Enjoy the holidays with your family. And just buckle up. It's going to be interesting this off season.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And my final thoughts are going to be very simple, man. The season's over, but the faithful are not. We have plenty to cheer for. We have players, individuals that we want to cheer for. We have the red and gold. We support the colors. Some people don't support the names on the back of the jerseys, and that's fine. But whatever it is, find a reason to cheer. Find a reason to be motivated. Find a reason to be upset if we lose. That's the challenge now. At the end of the last game, I laughed. I laughed, and that's sad. I was disappointed in myself. Right? I didn't pick us to win that game, but I laughed at it all. And I want to be upset when we lose. And I'll be honest with you guys, Nick Mullins had me upset because we were in position to win that game despite all those turnovers. But he did enough to make me upset. And I realized that if you're upset, that means you're disappointed. And if you're disappointed, that means you had expectations. If you had expectations, that means you had hope. Find a reason to hope, guys. Those are my final thoughts for tonight. That's going to do it for us here on this show. Nothing but Niners. Guys, I want to thank you all for joining me. You guys give him my man a follow over here. Brian is ST8R_9R. That is Stater Niner. Did I get it right? Let's go, baby. Make sure you guys give my guy Breezy a follow. He is down there. He is Wayne Breezy. He's got more followers than me. I don't know why I keep pumping this guy up. Hey, if you guys follow him, come up and follow me. Give Mike some follows also, all right? Make sure you guys support all of his shows also. Breezy's got like 40 trillion shows. I think Breezy is part Jamaican. Jamaicans understand that joke, all right? But I think Breezy is part Jamaican. Go follow some of his shows.
They never saw it living color. You got 10 job. 10 job, Macho Man 10 job, I got 20 job. Yo, in living color was the
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Make sure you guys go and support him. And also, guys, give our resident GM, Tony, a follow. He is NJ Niner fan 499. He's a silent assassin over there, man. I absolutely love it. He has good takes and everything, good football knowledge, and he's going to tell you like it is. Tony is the guy with the pencil behind the ear and a notepad. He is Matt Patricia out on the field. While everyone else is using the tablet, Tony is pen and paper. There it is right there. You guys see I'm not BSing you. You guys see I'm not BSing you. We keep it real over here, man. And by the way, Breezy, between me and you, I just saw the first commercial.
How's it
Coming to
going?
America too.
Oh, Coming to America, yo.
I just saw the commercial for it, man. Oh man. I don't know.
I got pictures from the set, yo.
You were there. Oh, we got to go. Okay, we're going to wrap off the air, man. Oh, my God, from the set. Listen, man, I thought it was corny until I saw the commercial. Then I got a little bit excited. Really quick before we get out of here, we're going to poll everybody else really quick. Guys, Home Alone 1 or Home Alone 2?
Home Alone 2. That's my question to ask.
I know, but you didn't ask it. That's why I'm asking them for you. Come on, Tony. Come on.
2,
I'm not into the Home Alone. I like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That's a classic. But right? he asked between these two movies. He didn't ask you to add that one in there.
I'm not into Home Alone. I guess I go Home Alone 1. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even remember 2. It's been that long that I only remember 1.
All right, listen. We're in tomorrow to my Extreme show where we're going to review part 2. We already did part 1. But I'm going to explain why Home Alone 2 is slightly better than part 1. So tune in tomorrow night at 10 p.m. because the Celtics play, and I'm not going to be doing it while the Celtics are playing because I'm going to be cursing.
My vote is going to be for Home Alone 1 for one scene and one scene only.
Go ahead.
The tarantula scene.
Oh!
You don't have a scene where a man's getting beat across the chest with a crowbar because of a tarantula, and the way he screamed when he had to pull it off of his face. Yeah. That is the most classic scene.
All right. Who got it worse in the movie, Harry or Marv?
Oh, Marv. Marv got it way worse, bro. And I understand Harry had his head burned. That was bad. That was bad.
When Marv stepped on that nail, bro,
I felt it in my soul.
And then the iron to the face. That's part 1. Part 2. Yo, Marv got hit with 6 bricks like back to back.
Bro,
and then got the staple gun to the front, to the back, and the nose.
Yeah.
Between the eyes. Look, I don't know how Marv is still standing, but
listen, and if anybody has ever stepped on a nail, I had a toothpick go on my foot just as deep as that nail did. What I loved the most about that movie was that they didn't get carried away. There was no blood. And that's how it is in real life. My foot did not bleed outside of the skin. It was a little black spot afterwards, but I had a toothpick about this deep in my foot in real life when I was a kid, and pulled that joint out, and I was just amazed that the toothpick in the wood was still coming out of my foot, and there was no blood. I loved it. I thought they did a great job with that, man. So that's going to do it for us tonight, man. We thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you guys go and subscribe. Breezy, tell them where to follow you really quick so they know where your channels are on YouTube.
I mean, go follow Extreme Show, Nitty Gritty Niners, you Under the Spotlight, Sizzling Sundays. Mike will be the guest this Sunday on Sizzling Sundays, representing the faithful. Now, Mike has to make foods that are inspired from the Bay Area that can be eaten during a tailgate. That's the thing.
Hey, Mike, you need me to send you the cards from the tail crate?
You got some?
All the recipes are in there too.
Hook me up, man. I was experimenting. I was practicing over here tonight. I made some homemade garlic sauce to go on my pasta. So I was practicing. I got to get my chef homeboy RD on. So
I love
here we go. We're gonna knock this thing out, man, guys. All right, we appreciate you guys. Thank you all for rocking out with us. We're gonna get up out of here, though. We've taken up way more time than we expected to. Prepare for glory.
Anticipate pay.
But always remain faithful.
We out of here.
Malika